Good day, students. Today is the last session, session 14, and this session is the most important thing to know is the classification of microorganisms, whether bacteria, fungi, or molds, and viruses. Here we are going just to select few of the most important families which are having the highest medical importance, and that means they are reported to have very high infection among um, the different human populations, and that's why we selected few families from bacteria to note for you to note how the classification goes from the kingdom or domain to the family to the different genera within the family. The genera that is reported here in this session are the infectious or causing disease genera. Their species causes disease in human beings. So for the bacterial families, we selected three families. The first family is the Enterobacteriaceae, as you can see here. This is classified from the domain bacteria, the kingdom Eubacteria, phylum Protobacteria, class Gamma Protobacteria, order Enterobacterialis, and family Enterobacteriaceae. So the family Enterobacteriaceae consists of a number of genera, and here we are just stating or listing the most infectious and disease causing genera. Their species causes disease in human beings. So, Enterobacteriaceae, this is a very large group of bacteria. They are heterogeneous, but they are all gram-negative rods. They are found, most of them, they are normal commensals, or no, their normal habitat is the intestinal tract of humans and animals, and they have more than 53 genera, over 170 named species. We are going to, for each family, we are just going to pinpoint the morphology and general characteristics. So for the Enterobacteriaceae, they are facultative anaerobes. That means they can grow in both in the presence and absence of oxygen. As I mentioned, they are gram-negative. They don't produce spores, and they are rod-shaped. Most of them, they are motile by peritrichous flagellae, except for Shigella and Klebsiella. These are two genera. They have different species, but they don't possess any flagellum, and that's why they are non-motile. They grow on the bile containing media, which is well known for Enterobacteriaceae growth, and it's appropriate media for all species of Enterobacteriaceae, which is the McConkey agar. Many of these species in the family Enterobacteriaceae, they are, as I mentioned, they are commensals. They live symbiotically with the human being intestinal tract and the food, and but when there is any immunocompromised or decrease in the immunity of the human being, then they become pathogenic. In this case, we call them opportunistic pathogens. So they don't only attack the intestinal tract; they might invade other organs or other systems, like the urinary tract system, the respiratory system, So they disseminate within the body and cause disease. As I mentioned, the Enterobacteriaceae, it has a large number of species, but they can be differentiated by the different biochemical tests we already explained in the part of the bacteriology and their antigenic structure. So they could be also differentiated by molecular biology techniques. They are causing. Why are they this family important? Because it is the most spreading, cause disease causing species. So causing around 3 million deaths per year and 4 billion infections worldwide. That's why it's very important. You need to know that the Enterobacteriaceae is one of the highly reported disease causing bacteria. They have different, as I mentioned, they have very large number of genera, almost reaching more than 53 genera, but we are just listing here around 16, which are the most infectious and disease causing species or genera whose species cause disease. So we have Escherichia, and this is the widely spread bacteria, Escherichia, and there is Escherichia coli, which is very well known. Shigella, Citrobacter, Klebsiella, Hafnia. Number six, it is repeated, but it used to be before also stated as Enterobacter, but in number 12 and 6, they are the same. Enterobacter is not Enterobacteriaceae. There is a spelling mistakes here. Providenica, and then we have Salmonella, Serratia, Proteus, Yersinia, Erwinia. All these listed are reported to cause disease in human beings. So as I mentioned, some of them they are commensals. So those stated here as opportunistic pathogens, they are normally commensals found in the intestine of human beings. But once there is drop or decrease in the immune system of the body, then they tend to be pathogens. So we have Escherichia coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Enterobacter aerogenes, Serratia marcescens, Proteus species, Providenic species, and Citrobacter species. These are known as to be opportunistic pathogens. Obligate pathogens, that means they are not commensals, but they are found they could be found in the food ingested by the human being or in the environment. So they have where in water, in whatever type of food can be ingested within the intestine, they tend to cause disease, but they are not normal commensals. So Salmonella species, Shigella, Yersinia, and some strains of E. coli, they are not normal commensals, but yet when they enter through the food into the body, ingested through the food into the human body, they cause disease. As you can see here on the other side, there are different diseases. Meningitis, which is the inflammation of the brain meninges, and pneumonia. This bacteria can cause pneumonia, which is affecting the lungs. Sepsis, that means they can enter into the blood system and cause systemic diseases through spread through the blood system. They can cause diarrhea or urinary tract infection. The common, as you can see here from the list of these species, the common genera is Escherichia. So Escherichia coli is very common to cause different types of diseases. Once spread once turns to be opportunistic pathogen due to the decrease of the immunity of the human body. So Enterobacteriaceae is one of the most important um, bacterial families, widespread and reported to cause high mortality and morbidity rate. That means death and disease causing bacteria. We go to the next family, and again, it is one of the most important bacteria widely spread worldwide. So the second family, bacteria family, is Mycobacteriaceae. And as you can see, this classification started from the kingdom bacteria, or we can say the domain bacteria. Phylum Enterobacter bacteria. So the class is the same, Enterobacteria. Subclass Enterobacteriidae. Order Actinomycetes, and we already spoke before about actinomycetes and their difference in this. They don't possess a cell wall, but they have a different chemical component in the cell membrane, which is the cell wall is which gives the shape of the cell wall, and it's very rich in mycolic acids. That's why it doesn't act with the it doesn't have the same reaction with the gram stain. It has a different stain. We call it fast acid stain, because of the different chemical components found within the cell membrane and the cell wall. So it's not the same cell wall components as in the other bacteria. So and then we have this family. It has only one genus, which is the Mycobacterium, and under this genus, then there are number of species. And this bacteria, this genus or this family, has different species, and these different species cause or infect uh, different types of uh, of um, of populations. Like Mycobacterium tuberculosis affects humans. Mycobacterium avium, it affects birds. Mycobacterium bovis, it affects cattle, and so on. So the different types of bacteria species within this family affects different types of populations: human, animals, birds, and so on. So this type of bacteria is strict pathogen. There are different. Some of these species, they are strict pathogens. They cause disease, and others are opportunistic. They are found within the body, especially in animals and in birds. There are some species of this mycobacterium. They are found as normal inhabitants of birds and animals. But once again, if there is any decrease in the or change in the metabolism of the body of the bird or the animal, then it becomes opportunistic and cause disease. But in the human being, it's not a normal inhabitant. It is actually um, inhaled, inhaled it can spread from any source of disease carrying human being, or maybe in the air, or in the any inhaled particles. So they cause disease in human being. They cause disease in the lungs, and as you know, it's tuberculosis causes tuberculosis, which is السل بالعربي. um, so these the morphology and characteristics of this bacteria. They are obligate aerobe, that only grow in the presence of oxygen. They do not react as other bacteria families with gram stain, because again their cell wall component is or chemical components is different from other bacteria. It's very rich in mycolic acids, and this does not react with with the acid alcohol reaction in the gram stain. That's why it doesn't decolorize and it keeps the crystal violet stain. That's why it tends to look under the microscope as gram positive bacteria. So the disease is caused by this family. As I mentioned, it has only one genera, which is a Mycobacterium. So in human being, it is caused by it causes tuberculosis, and the bacterium is called Mycobacterium tuberculosis, MTB. It's well known. SUL, the cause of the SUL. And again, the tuberculosis, it causes Mycobacterium bovis. It causes another type of sul in the or tuberculosis in the cattle. Mycobacterium avium, it causes in the sul in the birds. So that's why it's called Mycobacterium avium. There is another type of disease caused by other species. There is Jones disease caused by Mycobacterium paratuberculosis. Leprosy disease. Leprosy is بالعربي الجذام, and it's well known also disease and very highly infectious. It affects the peripheries, the legs and the hands, and so it is caused by Mycobacterium leprae. There is other opportunistic diseases. This is for the Mycobacterium species that already found in the bodies of animals and birds. They tend to be disease causing bacteria once the body immunity decreases or any change in the metabolic uh, um, level of these animals. So they tend to be pathogenic, and in this case, we call them opportunistic, causing opportunistic diseases. So again, Mycobacteriaceae is one of the widely spread um, um, disease causing bacteria. And as you know, a SUL or the tuberculosis is affecting a very large number of populations worldwide, especially in poor communities. And it's very widespread in Africa, in Asia, and and less, of course, in Europe and other developed countries. So we go to the third bacterial family, and this is Pseudomonaceae. The third type of family, bacterial family, is Pseudomonaceae, and the domain is bacteria, kingdom Eubacteria, phylum Protobacteria, and the class is Gamma Protobacteria, and order is Pseudomondalis, um, and the family Pseudomonaceae. The family Pseudomonaceae has four main genera. The most important and very highly infectious in human being is the Pseudomonas, which is we call it the type genus. There is others, which is Proteria and Dancemonas and the Galga. And the more general morphology and the general characteristics of this family, they are gram negative. They under the microscope, it can be confused with the Enterobacteriaceae because they are again gram negative, rod shaped. But here, these most of the Pseudomonaceae species, they have polar flagellated. Unlike Enterobacteria, which are motile, they have peritrichous. So they are the Pseudomonas species are aerobic, non-fermentative bacteria, unlike the Enterobacteria in the culture media. The most of them are chemoorganotrophic. Others, very few, are chemoisotrophics, depending on hydrogen and carbon dioxide for energy source. And they are not commensals. They are, unlike Enterobacteria, they are not commensals in the human body. But they are considered pathogens, strict pathogens, and they are saprophytes. They are common saprophytes in fresh water and marine waters. and soil. And as I said, they are pathogenic to human beings, animals, and plants. Um, so there are differences between the Enterobacteriaceae and Pseudomonaceae because you need to differentiate between them because, as I mentioned, under the microscope to see a gram stained slides of Pseudomonas and Enterobacteria, Bacteriaceae species, they might look similar under the microscope unless you stain them with a specific flagellary stain, then you can differentiate with the presence of peritrichous flagellae in the Enterobacteria and polar flagellae in the Pseudomonas. The most reported common pathogen of this genus, Pseudomonas, is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. This is very well known microbe in the health care, causing a number of infections. As you can see here in the diagram, it can infect the urinary tract, it can infect the skin, it can infect the heart, causing endocarditis. It can enter the blood and cause bacteremia in the blood. It can infect the it can reach through the blood to the brain and cause CNS, central nervous system infections. And also it can cause infections in the eye, in the ear, in the musculoskeletal system, in the respiratory tract. So it might cause a number of infections in the body once enter the body and spread to the all parts and systems of the body. So this is a very highly infectious and disease causing bacteria, well known in the healthcare as Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a species of the genus Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is the genus of the family Pseudomonaceae. So these are the three, what we explained are the three families of highly medical importance in the within the families, the different families of bacteria, highly reported in the healthcare system, causing high mortality and morbidity rate among among human beings and even in the patients who are hospitalized. So these three families, which is Enterobacteriaceae, Mycobacteriaceae, Pseudomonaceae, these are very important. Next, we are going to explain two most commonly known infectious families within the fungi families. So for the fungi families, we have the first family, which here we are going to specify the pathogen because as you know, fungi, they are very widespread in the environment, but there are certain species which are specific to human beings causing disease or maybe even commensals and become opportunistic diseases, opportunistic pathogens. So the first family is Debromycetaceae, and the important pathogen under this family is Candida albicans. And for its classification, we start from the kingdom, superkingdom, which is Eukaryote, kingdom fungi, subkingdom Dicaria, phylum Ascomycota, subphylum Saccharomycotina, class Saccharomycetes, subclass Saccharomycetidae, order Saccharomycetales, family debris Mycetaceae. The genus is Candida and the species is albicans. So, for as we mentioned before, Candida, it's a normal commensal of the human body found in the oropharyngeal cavity, gastrointestinal, and vaginal tract. and also found on the outer surface of the skin or outer layer of the skin of normal individuals or healthy individuals. Being a normal commensal in the human body, if the immunity of the body is dropped, then it can cause opportunistic infection in immunocompromised people, like those who have AIDS, have viral diseases, hepatitis, or autoimmune diseases. So their immunity drop, and this candida can become an opportunistic infection causing disease. Candida itself, it's an yeast form, but it can produce hyphae. We call it pseudohyphae because it is very small and tube-like hyphae. Its cell wall is very rich in carbohydrates. So in human being, once it turns to be opportunistic infection, it can cause two types of infections, either systemic candidiasis or mucosal candidiasis. For the systemic candidiasis, that means it spreads in the body and cause systems diseases. It can enter the blood and cause candidemia, or it can cause abscesses اللي هو زي الخراج, أو intraperitoneal candidiasis, which is in the on the peritoneum, which covers the abdomen and the intestine and the other organs in the abdomen region of the body. It can cause mucosal candidiasis, and this like oral, or sometimes we call it thrush, um, oral candidiasis, or esophageal candidiasis, or vaginal candidiasis, or cutaneous candidiasis, and this occur when usually in immunocompromised people, their immunity dropped for any reason, and becomes the candida becomes an opportunistic pathogen. We go to the next family of within the fungi family, and explain again its medical importance. The second family, which is Tremeliaceae, and the pathogen under this family, which causes infection in the human being, is Cryptococcus neoformans. As for the classification of this species, we have the kingdom fungi, phylum Basidiomycota, class Tremeliomycetes, and Timeriales and Timerilaceae, and the genus is Cryptococcus. The morphology and general characteristics of this family, they are yeast, unicellular, like the Candida albicans we already explained before, and they reproduce by budding. The most important character of this pathogen, they are capsulated, and they form melanin, which is a dye. They like a pigment. They are pigmented. They have a pigment on the cell, and they have urease activity. So these characteristics, they give a virulence factor. They add a virulence factor to this fungus. Um, but because they are when they are in the yeast form, they have this capsule, but again they are easily carried by the air, and they spread. They tend to lose their capsule and become dry, and they spread by the air. That's why they are inhaled by human beings from the environment, and usually they are found in the environment, in places where there are birds, there is trees. So this this is a normal habitat of this fungus, and for the human being, they inhale this fungus through air particles, and once they enter into the body, Then they invade the lungs, alveoli or the air spaces, and colonize there, and then enter into the blood, okay, and then go to the brain and cause what we call the disease cryptococcal meningitis. So they cause like it's a form of suhai, as we call in Arabic, meningitis, but it is caused by a fungus. So this is how it comes. The human being inhale this microorganism um, from environmental sources like birds and trees. It can also cause, if the patient is hospitalized and have low immunity, it can cause the disease, meningitis, and even in those immunocompromised patients, like those having AIDS, cancers, or tuberculosis. So this fungus can cause meningitis in these immunocompromised patients. We move now to the viral families, and we're going to explain two families, which is of highly medical importance in the healthcare. And the first family is Coronaviridae. The pathogen is coronavirus, and as you know, coronavirus, it has a very wide spread during the epidemic and causes the epidemic of uh, 2019 2021, and it's up to date. It's causing some sporadic infections, but yet it is considered very highly contagious and infectious. So the coronavirus, its scientific name, or as it is named in reference to to the disease that it causes. So it causes severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. This is its name. So it is abbreviated as SARS-CoV-2, and this is the main cause of coronavirus disease or COVID disease 19. So we first start with classification, and as you can see here, relim, it is another synonymous or another name to domain. So Ribovaria kingdom, also Orsano varii, phylum Pisu bicota, class Pisono virisates, order Nidovirali, suborder Coronavireni, family Coronaviridi, subfamily also Coronavirini. It has four genus or genera: alpha coronavirus, beta, gamma, and delta coronavirus. For the morphology and general characteristic, as definitely you already know that the coronavirus, it's spherical or circular. It has very circular or spherical virions, and they are enveloped. They have positive single-stranded RNAs. That means they can very fast be transcribed and translated within the cell. And the envelope has spikes. It has three types of proteins which originate as spikes. It has S spike, S protein, M protein, and E protein. So these are arranged in the form of uh, external spikes, which gives a shape like a crown. They touch. That's why you call it coronavirus, or الفيروس التاجي. Uh, as I mentioned, they have four genera: alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Alpha and beta coronaviruses, they are the main origin for these viruses are the mammalians, which is mainly the bats, and they are the main cause of high fatality in human beings. So they are very virulent, alpha and beta. While gamma and delta, they originate from the birds and pigs, and they cause less symptomatic or mild disease in human beings. So the most important about this is their mutation. They have very high mutation because they are RNA viruses. So this is one of the families, viral families, which is considered having highly medical importance in the healthcare. We go to the next family of viruses, which also have high mortality and morbidity rate within the healthcare. The second family of viruses is the hepatitis viruses. And this is a common name, but because there are five types, then there are five families. We have five types of hepatitis viruses: A, B, C, D, and E. Each one of these have different is from different family, but because they are grouped because they all together cause the infection or inflammation of the liver. That's why they are called the group of hepatitis viruses. For example, hepatitis viruses, which is abbreviated HAV, from Picornaviridae family. HBV is Hepataviridae, and HCV is Flaviviridae, and HDV, which is Deltaviridae, and HEV is from Hepiviridae. So each one is from different family and again from different genus. But the most important thing is about their genome. All have an RNA genome, but except for HBV, which is hepatitis B virus, it is DNA. All the five types have common morphology, which is icosahedral, either naked or enveloped, except HBV. Besides its having a icosahedral nucleocapsid, it has other forms. It has been discovered within the infection within the blood system of infected persons. Is another shape of another particle which is enveloped, and it's called Dane particles. It's related to the scientists who discovered this particle, which is called the infectious virus or the virion that cause infection within the human being. There is a filamentous form also found, and all these three shapes, the spherical, the dam particle, and the filamentous, they are all considered B virus, hepatitis B virus. It tends to change its shape due to different conditions within the body and outside the body. So these five viruses, hepatitis viruses, um, they have a very great burden of illness within the health system and could lead to outbreaks and epidemic spread. The most important of these five types is the B and C, which causes chronic disease in hundreds of millions of people infected, and could lead to the end to the cirrhosis and cancer of the liver. Unlike A and E type, they are ingested by food and they could cause transient diseases, not chronic diseases, or acute diseases like diarrhea, vomiting, and then by time the patient can become with good solutions, intake of solutions, and prophylactic treatments, they can be cured. While B, C, and D, they are transmitted to the body through the body fluids, through the blood transfusion, through sexual contact, through any contact of infected person having the virus in its fluids, then can transmit this to a healthy person. So with this end, we end the course for microbiology. And for this session, you need to know the different families, their characteristics, and their classification. This is the most important thing. Um, um, by this session, we end the course of microbiology. Good luck and wish you all the best.